You know we're going to talk about Star Wars, right? NERDSoul. Late ill kid at one youngster holding it down, bringing that street geek and nerd soul. What is up, my people, today? Oh yeah, we about to get into another wonderful episode of Dropping Jewels. Man, during the week we can't cover it all, but some things happen. We got to sprinkle it on this show. And happy Saturday. I hope y'all guys are getting y'all chill on. We're gonna get through this so you can do your Saturday. So Star Wars got just a little bit more coverage in Entertainment Weekly. They had 4 different articles, or a 4-part article, where they talked about like Rey, Luke, Finn, Rose, the Porgs, Ahch-To, also Snoke, and the folks that he rolls with. So let's get into it. It says that when we find Rey and Luke, there's something about meeting your heroes. Sometimes when you meet them, it's not as good as you thought it was going to be. And when Rey meets Luke, he's not the guy that she quite expected. It talks about her facing rejection from Luke because Luke is like, yo, man, I don't want to be part of this. I don't want to be a Jedi. I'm out here. I came out here to be by myself. The article outlines how, you know, his expectations have changed, how her expectations of him are much different than what she's getting because she needs some guidance. And it just seems like he's not willing to guide anyone anymore. It also talks about why he chose the island. You know, Ahch-To is a very interesting island in Star Wars. It's surrounded by life, yet also desolate. And there's less hope. There's less I guess, positivity surrounding, you know, Luke and how he's seeing the future for him and for the Jedi. You know, Rey wants more, and Luke is full of regret, and probably, I don't know if Luke wants less, but it just seems like he doesn't want anything. Luke wants to be left alone. He doesn't want to be part of this fight anymore. And the article is showing us that this is where they start. They start in a situation where Rey is being rejected, and Rey is kind of surprised to see this hero of Luke Skywalker acting like this. Then after that, the article goes on to outline things like the actual island that he's on. It outlines the Caretakers and the Porgs. Now let's go on and talk about the Porgs, get them out the way. We know the Porgs are pretty much, we know Star Wars trying to get that money, but you know what I'm saying? Let's back up a little bit. The Porgs are kind of like everywhere on this island. They're ingratiating, but they're an interruption as well. And when it comes to Luke's position on the island, there's these species called the Caretakers that look like kind of like fish / birds / nuns, and they're not too keen on him being there. But even though they're not too keen on him, they do, it says they tolerate him. So they kind of allow him to be there. But a very cool thing that you get into in the article is about the Jedi paintings and the Jedi carvings, and about, you know, whether this is the wills and what this means to Luke, and, you know, what he has there and what he's learned and what it's meant to him and why he's there, you know, because this was the first Jedi temple. And I really, really, really want to see what's in that book. I am psyched to sort of get into what those paintings mean, the words that it maybe the lessons that it teaches. Maybe that's why Luke is acting how he is. You know, it talks about Luke putting all of his love, all of his training, all of his guidance into Kylo Ren. Of course, we know how Kylo Ren turned out, and he blamed himself for it. Here's my take on that. Yo, man, look, we all got our stuff. You need to pick yourself back up. You can't just leave the game because you messed up one time. You had one fumble. Now, I know this fumble is a fumble that lost you that game, but don't lose the season over this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, Luke, come on, man, snap out of it. Because the next generation needs you and you need it. So before we move on, let me remind you guys that you can find me on Black Hollywood Live. That's right, the first online network for African Americans is super dope, and you can check them out at blackhollywoodlive.com, where they have celebrity interviews, after show, sports talk, geek, nerd, tech, the whole shebang, with live streams every day at youtube.com/Black Hollywood Live. So speaking of reluctant heroes, we also have someone else, Finn. Finn and Rose are in a very interesting place when it comes to this new story that we're going to be getting in The Last Jedi. Because Finn, he's still injured. He's definitely not forgotten about the injury that he received. And he's ready to go. Like, he just wants to get out. He doesn't want to be part of this anymore. You know, he always wanted to leave and go to the Outer Rim in the first place. Stuff kept pulling him back in. And now he actually has the chance to leave. But it says that he meets Rose, who's like this tech mechanic, gearhead, homegirl, can fix anything. And she has a situation where she feels like she's not really seen. You know, people don't really notice her, and her sister is like the dynamic star. But she looks in Finn and sees a hero. She sees the big deal that he was kind of playing himself up to be in the first film. Well, I guess in Force Awakens, technically the seventh film, but the first film, you know what I mean. But anyway, you know, she sees him as this hero. He's larger than life to her. She's so excited to be around him, to know him, to even learn from him. And I'm very psyched to see how this plays out, because in the article it says that he ends up kind of seeing himself through her and deciding to stay and to, I guess, build upon or become the hero that she and maybe some other people believe him to be. And the reason this is cool to me is because, how should I say it? You might get into trouble trying to be something that you're not, or something that you don't want to be, to please someone else. So I don't know how this will play out for Finn, you know, because Rose is someone who's hopeful, who's looks at him and she's like, yo, you know, you're a hero. You know, you did this. If it wasn't for you, you know, we wouldn't have been able to stop the base, and, you know, all of this stuff, and Star Killer would still be around. And I just hope that he doesn't end up doing this only for her, because, or for the idea of what he is, because that could end up putting him into a very tight spot. And lastly, we're talking about, that's right, the one and only supreme leader, Snoke, son. Yo, look, all right, when we saw Snoke, homie had a gash in his head. He was a hologram, and we don't know how big or small he is, because dude was like the size of like a small building. But now it says that we're going to be seeing him in the flesh. When we get to see Kylo Ren, we're going to get to see him, and they're already saying that the work that Andy Serkis is doing has them saying, like, oh my God, I can't believe we got that on tape. It's so amazing. You know, so I'm expecting the characterization of Snoke to be on point. And they said that they're still going to keep him in a little bit of that mystery. But the cool thing now is the Praetorian Guards that are going to be like Snoke's, you know, they, you know, his generals, you know what I'm saying? His boys that, you know, his bodyguards. And just like the Imperial Guards, they're in all red, but these guys are a little bit different. It talks about how, you know, they're going to be more ready to fight, and we're going to see them in action. And I'm excited for that. I'm truly excited for that. I think that to see, you know, people fight, because I think, you know, some things should be like a video game. You know what I'm saying? You fight, you know, a little dude and kind of a bigger dude. Then you fight like the guard guys. And then you fight Supreme Leader Snoke. You know what I'm saying? It's like kind of like Kung Fu, if you remember that game on NES. I know I took it back. But all of this stuff, even though it's small tidbits, when you put them all together from this 4-part article, even though it could be just one article, it's interesting. We're peeling back small layers of who the people are and not what the story is. And that's what I like. I like to know where people's attitudes are when we come into this movie. And I think that's a great way to give us stuff, you know, us fans stuff, without giving away the story. So of course, guys, holla at me. I'ma holla at you. Down below, the links are there. Check out the article. Let me know what you thought. I'm psyched. I'm still hyped. I'm very interested to see how the personalities in this movie will play out. So before I bounce, I gotta tell you guys to hit up thatnerdsoul.com. That's right, check me out right there. All the videos from the oldest, newest, latest, greatest, and all that. Then hit up shop.thatnerdsoul.com and pick yourself a t-shirt player, and don't forget to get one for them playettes. Then come back here, like, comment, subscribe, and share that NERDSoul. That's right, there's no better way that I can show people that you like what you are watching. And before I bounce, my shout outs go to LA, what up? VA, what up? RVA, you got my heart. And please, man, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. And if you have got to go to any island, go to an island where people actually want you there. Peace.